Mother, man.
That was some Shadow Spawn, man. I mentioned those guys, doing an interview with them this Saturday. Death Thrash from Denmark. Unfucking believable. I love these guys. Bone Song was the name of that. They got a video for it. That's fucking badass. So go on YouTube and check it out. We did a 666 seconds of metal on their Blasphemica album, their last release. So go check that out. And we got Tex here with us tonight.
What is going on, brother?
What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. Hey, I've been checking out y'all's blizzard conditions up there. How's it going up there?
Oh,
we're surviving, man. It missed us pretty much. We got a little bit, but not too bad. And Joey's getting a little bit of that maybe tomorrow. And we got lucky, dude.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, 2 hours north. Fucking blitzed, man.
Yeah, so, they're fucked.
Yeah, they got hammered. Yeah. So yeah, definitely not mad that I missed that. That's for sure. We interviewed a band from Australia here a week or so ago, Eqiupment, and it's summer there, so it's just fucked up talking to somebody. It's like 100 fucking degrees.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Like, holy shit, because they're in South Australia, so it's fucking hot there.
Dude, my buddy that went and worked down in go to work down in Antarctica. He's been down there. He's supposed to come back next month. It's been daylight the whole time he's been there. He decided to stay another season. Now he's going to be there, and it's going to be dark the whole time.
Oh my God, that would be fucked up. Yeah, I couldn't do it. But so good to have you here, Tex, and we're doing our month of dictators, which is going to be killer. And we're starting out with old Saddam Hussein, the 5th president of Iraq. I was surprised.
I mean,
he's the 5th president, but I'll get to that. I got some little info I dug up on Iraq. I
wouldn't really consider him president.
Like, well, with a gun,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So the Butcher of Baghdad, who served from 1979 to 2003. And for most of that time, he was, also the prime minister. So he's just, in countries like that with this shit, they just make shit up on the fly. So this guy was a power-hungry piece of shit who had a very modest upbringing and a rise to power somewhat similar to Adolf Hitler, with similar results when it came to some awful shit that he did to people. And we're going to get to it tonight. But the good part of the story, of course, is eventual capture by the U.S. troops and his execution and all that in 2006. So this was a big news story, literally. But it's been a bit, and I thought, hey, what a good one to start this out with. And Tex, what is it with guys like this and Hitler that are able to do what they do and get people so fired up and on their side?
It seems like it all starts out with a little bit of child abuse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Charismatic personality and a gift for gab, and it also it really helps to have like a good propaganda minister. And we'll get into Saddam's propaganda minister, but yeah, man, when this dude Saddam, when he seized power, he just took what he wanted, ruled with an iron fist, and he even took it so far as to teach his kids exactly what he did. Luckily,
following his footsteps and shit.
The U.S. went in my opinion, we're lucky that they went in and kind of saved the country from the terror of the Hussein family.
Right. Yeah, that's the truth, man. It's just a fucking horrible individual. And Chris, I mean, we've got some brutal ones coming up, but what do you think it is about Saddam Hussein, that name that just gets people in this country especially pretty fired the fuck up?
Just all the fucking evil shit he did and his like hatred for the Western world. Like like a lot of the religious shit and whatnot with the Western world, he hated it. Didn't like it, so...
And I know a lot of people were pissed too that we went to Kuwait, but we didn't go further. We didn't go get him, kind of thing.
Right.
But that's not what the mission was. The mission was to get him out of Kuwait, and we're going to get to all that. But it is frustrating. for the troops especially, right? But Joey, I mean, I'm sure some of the younger listeners may not know a whole lot about this dude, but anyone like you and Chris's age or older for sure know what this dude's about.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe some of the younger people might know the name from the South Park, I joked about that in the intro,
right.
but that's the only... if it weren't for that, they might not even have known who that dude was, but...
That's funny. I didn't even think of that about the South Park thing.
Yeah. For me growing up, fucking, that was like the first war that we were really involved in while I was alive that I can remember, you know. So that was pretty big to me to see that shit on the news and everything that was going on with, Bush and Schwarzkopf and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think anybody in our age group, me and Chris for sure, probably.
And like the news footage that you saw, like the live news footage of like the bombs and shit.
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
Shit.
Yeah, it was like right in your living room.
Right.
And the 24 news cycle was going on, so that was like the birth of all of that shit, So, and I don't want to turn this into a 5-hour episode because holy shit, this guy's backstory and all the politics and the different parties and all that. My God, I can't. I just can't. So
like a multiple parter.
Yeah, you're going to get kind of the cliff notes here tonight on that kind of stuff, all right? I'm trying to give you just what I feel you need to understand the whole story here. But, we're going to do our best with some pronunciations too, some rough ones in this. Try to do some phonetic spelling in the notes to help us out, but, there's going to be that. And so... Tex, is probably the brightest of all of us, so I think we're safe. We got Tex here with us, keeping us under control, so I think we're going to be just fine. Now, Saddam was born in a small village near Tikrit in Iraq in 1937. When his mom was pregnant with him, I thought this was crazy. She would later say she knew the baby was evil. And she said that her husband and her son died of cancer while he was inside her. And she feels that he did it.
From the womb?
From the womb because he wanted to be the only male in the fucking house.
Man,
so,
that is real power, dude.
That
he deserved what he got.
I don't think we've done a killer yet, Chris, that has murdered from the womb.
I don't think so either.
I don't know of one. But the name Saddam means the one who confronts. So
that's pretty
damn
on point.
Yeah. So as this guy was just predetermined, I think, to be this fucked up individual, and so I just thought that was nuts. She tried to abort the pregnancy and commit suicide, but was unsuccessful. So
she didn't try very fucking hard.
She didn't, because she could have spared people a lot of grief, But Tex, his mom wanted nothing to do with him, so then his uncle takes him in, right?
Yeah. He started out really fucked up, suffered a ton of violence as a young kid, and then his uncle, like you said, took him aboard, kind of showed him the ropes, showed him how to be a sadistic motherfucker, and,
Right.
Something came to mind when you were talking about Saddam's mom and wanting to get rid of his ass out of the womb and shit. You ever hear that question about Hitler? Would you go back in time?
Right.
It's like a philosophical question.
Oh,
would
yeah.
you go back in time and kill Hitler as a small kid?
Right.
Fuck yeah, I would.
Right?
Yeah, that's Stephen King
some
book,
people,
11/22/63. That's what that's about with JFK. To stop, to see if you could stop it from happening. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But there's some people that say, dude was a kid and you can't predetermine what somebody's going to be,
But I'm from the future.
I'm from the future, and I'm here to kill fucking Saddam Hussein.
That's right.
The world's going to be a different place in my future now.
Yeah, definitely a crazy thing to wrap your head around. But yeah, interesting stuff. So then Chris's mom remarries.
Oh yeah, that's
and then
good
he
time.
comes back thinking everything's all hunky dory. But
I think it's funny, his mom didn't want anything to do with him. But then she gets married to another dude. It was like, oh, he can come back now. But that didn't work out so good for him either. Because his stepdad liked to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, woke him up to beat his ass.
Just wake up, dude. Come on. We're going to fucking get an ass beaten tonight. So, yeah. I mean, violence begots violence, man.
Yeah, that's just some fucked up shit. So at 10, he leaves the house, don't blame him, and returned to live with the uncle, who would become kind of like a father figure to him. Now, he was a Sunni and would expose Saddam to lots of anti-Semitic literature, some horrible shit I didn't even want to repeat on here, so I'm just not going to. But the hatred of the Jewish people just off the fucking charts, like fucked up. He would go through school and eventually law school, but dropped out at the age of 20, got into politics and the Ba'ath Party. And this was a very small, at the time, very radical but small organization that he joined with them, and his uncle, the influence his uncle put on him, and other family members. It was just, he was really fucking fired up and very, young and all fucking ready to rule the fucking world, right? So, Joey, it's the 1950s, and there's lots of turbulence over there in Iraq with all these different political parties. What winds up happening, dude?
Well, then we're talking about he's with the Ba'ath Party, and what they want to do is they want to attack their opposition and stage an ambush. And they obviously see something in Saddam, even at that age, that knows that he's a person that they can use to take out these missions. So they send him on it. He's on this ambush. Right. They don't end up killing the target of the assassination. But Saddam, right, and Saddam, he ends up getting shot by one of his own members. Nobody died from this, but he was, obviously in that political aspect, he was a big influence in that. And to be honest, he probably used the fact that he got shot and didn't die as part of his platform as he gained power on and on, like you can't kill me type shit,
Yeah, right. They're going to spin it, right? Whatever they got to do to spin it. But I thought it was funny that they set up a crossfire and shot each other. Yeah. They did shoot the target, but he lived. So, yeah, the total fail. I mean, complete fail. His first time out doing that. So, and of course, twisted by the party and the story about Saddam being heroic,
right,
for being part of this failed attack, like you said. Iraqi TV would tell the people lies like this all the time, and of course, most of them are going to believe it. Yeah. And you're not going to speak out in a country like this because you'll end up
dead
in some fucking chair
prison,
with a fucking lit cigarette in your fucking eyeball, which is fucked.
Right.
Now, Tex, this was a thing during Desert Storm, or there was a thing during Desert Storm with that Baghdad Bob. Is that what you were alluding to earlier?
Yeah, I was, man. He's the guy that was on the TV a lot, on CNN or whatever, with the bombs and shit exploding behind him.
Right.
Just saying that, this is the mother of all battles. And
right.
Iraq's going to kick out the American dogs and drive them back across the sea, all that shit.
Yeah, as his
good propaganda ministry goes a long way, man.
Yeah, as they were getting their asses whipped, so that's funny.
Yeah.
So that old Baghdad Bob, but we've heard that before, Chris. I know you're a big fan of MASH, but on MASH they had the Korean, radio station
saying how they were beating the Americans.
Their wives were cheating on them and all this kind of shit. Yeah, so they do that stuff. They did it in Vietnam. I mean, it was a thing. So, it is definitely psychologically fucks with people, hearing shit like that. So, now, Chris, Saddam would leave for Egypt to kind of avoid getting caught up in all this political craziness going on.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be around all that and shit, so he tries to get his fucking law degree again. But guess what? Couldn't do that.
Nope, can't.
He can fucking...
can't do shit.
For some reason, he can take over a country, but he can't get his law degree.
Can't figure out that 3 people on one side of a car facing 3 people on the other side of a car, that they're not going to shoot each other in the process.
Right.
That kind of fucking dumbass, can rule a country. I mean, what the fuck?
So, he's not doing so great with life at the moment, but he's gonna get up there pretty strong, pretty quick.
Yeah, he uses his whatever, his charisma is what he's using. I guess that's all he's got. He returns to Iraq and slowly rising up in the Ba'ath Party in the 1960s. And we know what the 60s were like here, so this is just a very turbulent time. And there would be a split in the party, and Saddam would start his own group of Ba'athists. So again, this gets confusing. But the U.S. was also involved in how things played out, like we saw before with Osama bin Laden, that they would help Saddam because he was the lesser of two evils. This happens all the time. And of course, looking back on it, you're like, what the fuck did they do that for?
Exactly.
Well, at the time, that was the move, you know? So it's just, it is just the fact of the way shit goes. But, it's, you wish they would have just put a bullet in his fucking head and called it done, but we don't do that, So 1968, there's a bloodless coup. That would be a cool band name. Saddam was a part of. I'm giving people all kinds of ideas. I'm not asking for any money in return. I'm just a fucking fountain of fucking band names. So if you're listening and you're a musician and you got some stupid fucking band name, if you don't pick up on some really good ones listening to us, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Now, this would set the table for him to leverage himself as the president and prime minister of the country. So again, just making shit up, fucking... whatever. The Ba'ath Party is now in power, and his cousin is the president of the country. But, dun, 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 shit gets crazy, Joey. So he does what any good politician is known for, man.
Yeah, he goes in and fucking starts getting involved in things that are, equitable and fucking become an asset to him and the country. And that's economic development. That's the oil fields. Anything that he knows that people are going to be fucking after and that he can give a supply of, he was going to have his hands in that for sure. And all that does is create, as we're talking about, dictatorship and a monopoly, and it's always dangerous.
Yeah, and even like Capone did it, giving money away to people. He was, on the surface, very man of the people kind of thing.
Right, but deep down, he was...
Yeah, he was got some shit going on because he was organizing street gangs, intelligence gathering, and shit like that to make himself invaluable to his cousin, who, as I said, was the president. So then Saddam lied and spread rumors that his cousin had failing health in 1979. This guy, what the fuck with this dude?
He's going to die, dude. Just put me in charge.
Yeah, exactly. So he forces his cousin from office, and then he becomes the 5th president of the country, which I thought, seriously, the 5th president? I mean, what the hell? But Iraq didn't win its independence until 1932. So I was like, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. I was thinking it was like, hundreds and hundreds of years old. So I was surprised that it was as late as 1932. But anyway, there he is. He's now the president.
President 5.
His cousin fucking has to get the fuck out of town. And it's crazy, how this shit goes on.
And this ain't no 2-term presidency either.
No, not at all. So Saddam would show a love for violence, though, dude. What the hell with this guy?
Yeah, man. He would, believe it or not, remember Abu Ghraib, the famous prison from the 2003?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Where they said the Americans committed a whole bunch of, atrocities or whatever. That was Saddam Hussein's favorite little place to go and do his own little torture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He had over 100 forms of torture that he loved to do, and his favorite, actually he had 2 favorite things. One was to put lit cigarettes out in the eyes of his victims.
God damn, dude.
And then the other thing he liked to do to get information out of people was string people up and put a vat of acid under them, and he would lower them down and just keep lowering them down.
Slowly.
Lowering them down, asking questions. And yeah, dude, it was fucking crazy.
Wow.
Sick shit.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Definitely fucked up. And I saw that
Could you imagine getting a cigarette getting put out in your eyeball?
That's
dude?
just like cringe.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
And I heard he had 107 forms of torture, had it down to that many,
Yep.
and did all kinds of sick shit like that. I hadn't heard about the acid, though. That's pretty brutal.
Yep.
Now
and he'd take his sons, Uday and Kusei, over there and teach them how to do the shit too.
Oh yeah,
that's why they were so fucked up.
Yeah, those two were really fucked up.
Oh yeah, growing up with that
Really
for your
fucked
dad,
up, right?
Yeah.
and him not even hiding it, not giving a fuck, just like boom.
Yeah, here's the family business. Learn it.
Learn it well.
So
That's right.
he used street gangs to act out violence and snatch people up off the street to be taken in for torture and interrogation. A week after he takes over the country, he called a meeting with all the politicians. This was fucking crazy. This is on video. You can watch this on YouTube. They get there and see TV cameras, and Saddam is smoking a cigar up at the front of the room while a list of names is being read. And one at a time, those people have to get up and they're escorted out of the meeting and put in front of a firing squad, like right away.
You're done.
You're dead. And then this is like, like Hitler and Stalin, like brutal shit, And this went on for hours, and he's just smiling and smoking the cigar while the names are being read. And then there were some guys like jumping up and down, like, "We love Saddam," and like trying to win him over. And then 10 minutes later, their fucking names
hauled out. Right?
It's fucking brutal, man, Chris. I mean, that is just some harsh fucking violence, man. Setting the tone.
He fucking went in there, fucking balls out, dude. Just like, I need to do this, and I need to do it fast, and I need to do it hard, and make them understand. Like, I got this algorithm figured out. You guys are gonna follow my rules if I make that happen. The consequence is instant.
Right.
Like,
as you're seeing, it was like 80 people. I think.
Ain't no fucking around. It's gonna happen right now.
Yeah, it was fucking brutal, man. So Joey, he ends up nationalizing everything, and like I said, this whole man of the people thing with the oil money, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, all he's doing is fucking getting his hands on everything. He's taking all this money that he's making, and I mean, because he's getting the money, don't get me wrong, he's fucking involved with all those top fucking OPEC and all that shit at the time. And fucking,
it's oil rich, man.
Yeah,
that country.
So he's got the money. The problem is that he's taking it all and putting it mostly back into his own military and militia in his street gangs, like you were saying.
Palaces, statues.
So that, exactly. Anything that he could have. I mean, you got to figure that he probably always knew that someday that somebody was going to come after him, too. Much the way Hitler felt that way, too. So they get fucking paranoid and shit, and the best thing you can do is fucking build yourself a fortress and arm yourself, And that's what he's doing. Plus, he's trying to take over shit. Now, he didn't get very far with getting much out of fucking, the main Iraq area. But that's because it was a different time than when Hitler did that. And the rest of the world was like, no, you're not going to fucking do that shit. But if he had his way, he definitely would have gained more fucking countries.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree. He definitely was wanting to, make himself rich, and he certainly did that. And every year on his birthday, he would gift the country a new statue of himself.
That's
right.
How nice is that?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Huge paintings of him all over the place. I mean, fucking ridiculous.
But overall, the fucking...
I was going to put the...
Go ahead, Ted.
I was going to put the toppled statue up here as my background.
Yeah.
I got the old mural there.
No, that's definitely a cool image. You see the video of him toppling the statue.
Yeah.
So he leads the Iraqi army to a war against Iran that lasted 8 years and a major loss of life, his country in total fucking ruins. And it doesn't stop this fucking idiot. He starts building factories to manufacture nerve agent, and one so deadly that Hitler didn't even want any part of it.
That's fucking...
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
So this dude using shit that even Hitler was like, no, that's too much.
That's the passing that line.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So he ends up using this on his own people on more than one occasion, which is fucked up.
God.
Now, Tex, he first used the nerve agent on the Kurds in the north. What ended up happening with that, dude?
Yeah, they were going through like a rebellion. They wanted their own little Kurdish territory or country or whatever. So Saddam was like, "Fuck that! We're gonna go and we're gonna
stop this shit.
Use our new shit. See what happens."
Right.
So he went up there and sprayed some sarin gas all over. I think it was Halabja was the name of the town, little province up there. Killed over 100,000 people, killed and injured. Dude didn't give a shit. He just did what he did.
So it was sarin that he used?
Ruthless.
Is that what it was? It was sarin, Tex?
Sarin. I think it was sarin gas.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
fucked up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was.
I did not.
I didn't catch it.
Or ricin or something like that.
Something bad.
Either way.
So bad Hitler didn't want any part of it. I also saw something about the Sons putting people in wood chippers, and if they put you in feet first, they wanted you to suffer more.
Oh yeah, of course.
So head first, at least it would go quick. But god damn, that's fucking brutal.
Couldn't even imagine that shit.
That's fucked up, man. Just sitting there watching people get thrown into a wood chipper. That's fucked. But Saddam owed $40 billion to Saudi Arabia to help with this Iran or Iraq war. He had no intention, of course, of paying him back. He's totally disillusioned, acts like he won the war and his country is thriving. Meanwhile, it is literally in ruins. He owed $15 billion to Kuwait. So they come asking for their money, you know. And it's like the scene in Goodfellas with Spider, you know. He fucking gets all, fuck you, like, what are you coming over here asking me for money? And then he invades the country. And that's what started Desert Storm in 1991 while George H.W. Bush, so the senior was president. So now this is when I joined the Army, but I will admit I did not do it because there was a war. I did it because I needed to join the Army, so I had health insurance when my son was born, and I had to be gone before he was born for it to fucking count. So he was born 2 weeks early. So I left October 15th. He was born October 1st, so I had to pay for the whole fucking thing. Anyway. But I needed to do it because I couldn't get insurance for my family, and my late wife's cousin was in the military, in the Army, at Fort Knox, ironically. And I was like, he was saying, like, it's just like a normal job for me, you know? So I was like, maybe that's what I should do. So I decided to do it, and then the war started. I'm like, fuck it, I'm already getting to do it. So I went, and by the time I was done with my training, I didn't have to go to Kuwait because the war was winding down. So they sent us all stateside. I wound up at Fort Hood, Texas, but I got out in '94 with a medical discharge from an accident I had on post where I got pretty fucked up. So Tex, I know you got some experience in this category. What did you want to say about it?
Yeah, man. You and I went to basic together in '91. I went in for the war. I saw it first starting to kick off. I just graduated old high school.
Right.
And,
you were a young pup.
Yeah, man. 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah.
But, we were scouts, and I spent a total of 12 years stationed in the States, and then went to Korea, Germany, deployed twice to Yugoslavia. But all for me now, I do have one thing to say, and I heard you, somebody made some type of comment about not going to combat and you're not a veteran.
Oh,
Was that right?
Yeah, somebody said that on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say that, nobody picks what deployment you go to or not.
Right.
If you raised your right hand and gave the oath of enlistment, served your enlistment honorably, then you're a veteran.
100%.
Period.
Oh, yeah. No, I never thought I wasn't. I just thought that's pretty fucked up to say to somebody. But, yeah, I mean, I could have very easily gone. I mean, we both could have been shipped out over there. That's where we were supposed to go, but the war ended, so we didn't go. But, yeah, so, it is what it is. And, yeah, I mean, there's internet trolls out there on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, somebody's
really
want to talk some shit all the time,
stupid
dude.
shit,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. But hey, thank you for your service.
And you as well.
Both of y'all.
You as well. U.S.-led forces stomped Saddam's ass and sent him packing back to Iraq and out of Kuwait. Saddam claimed victory despite the fast 6-month conflict. When weapons inspectors, though, came to look at his weapons of mass destruction, of course, he's not letting them in. There was all sorts of stupid fucking games played, them moving them around, sent most of them to fucking Syria. These fucking idiots are just fucking letting him do it. And he would have probably used these weapons had he not, you know, gotten invaded and all that shit going on, and having to put all his weapons in Syria. So what a mess. I remember it well. I was much more involved in the political stuff at that time. I'm not now. I don't know anything that's going on at all with politics. I fucking can't stand it. But it was after 9/11 that Saddam got dragged into a war with President George W. Bush, and was invaded and found hiding in a hole by U.S. troops. So that's fucking awesome. And I know that video of him getting pulled out of that fucking hole. That was great. But George Bush started what his dad, or finished what his dad started in Desert Storm. I guess you could look at it that way. The palaces were destroyed, the statues and paintings taken down, people dancing in the streets, fucking pissing on his fucking paintings and stuff. It's good stuff. And December 30th, 2006, Saddam was hanged after a trial that found him guilty of crimes against humanity. And the men who got him ready were like cussing at him and talking shit.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, and he's in the middle of this fucking rant, and they're just like, fuck you. And they fucking drop the fucking shit, and he fucking gets hanged. So, fuck him.
That video is fucking nuts.
Yeah, it is. So, obviously, huge news story while we, searched for him and then found him in the trial and all that. But a total piece of shit that did some absolutely horrific things to his own people. He deserved much worse. He should have been in the wood chipper.
Definitely.
Feet first,
I think he went
on the
too quick.
slowest fucking speed possible.
I think he went too quick.
Yeah, exactly. But at least this motherfucker's not wasting oxygen anymore. So that's good. The world is rid of that fucking piece of shit. Guys, anything to add to this one, old Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, I just got one thing, man. I had a friend that was over there and was at when he got pulled out of the hole.
Yeah.
And they found hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in there with him.
Oh, wow.
Like in cash, all rolled up and bundled up and shit.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he was going to lay low and fucking get out of there and go do his thing somewhere else.
He thought he was.
I thought you were going to say he was down there with the Walkman with some goremonger and some low 12s down there in that fucking hole, jamming the fuck out, right, Joey? Jamming out.
He was, man.
Right?
So, just wanted to start off the Dictators Month with this motherfucker. So, I did my research watching a few good documentaries on YouTube. The Rise and Fall of a Man and His Empire was really good. The Timeline documentary was excellent. There's some really good stuff out there. So if you're interested...
way deeper than that.
Yeah, go check it out. Because, the whole political stuff gets deep. And I knew that if I started going into it, it was going to put people to sleep. So we went right for the wood chipper and the sarin
torture
gas.
part.
Yeah. So
wood chippers are always good.
That's right. So Tex, love having you on with us. Anytime we can get you on here, we know we got another episode coming up with you. Always fun.
Fuck yeah, we got an interview with Mick, man.
That's right.
Thank you all for having me on.
Yeah, I know that you really enjoyed doing that interview before, so when we set it up, we're going to be doing a Tasmania penal colony, Chris. What you're thinking. Not what you're thinking. He got all perked up when I said penal colony. But no, we're going to be doing that. And me and Tex did the interview with Mick last time, and Tex really enjoyed it. So I figure, why not? I got Shane helping me in these metal videos because he and I have very similar tastes in what we listen to. So it works out good. Doing that, I love having Tex in on these interviews. I mean, it's great getting all of these guys involved because they're bring a lot to the table, as we heard on the Brawl of the Bayou. And
yeah,
some good shit there. So.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to stay on with us to the end of this segment, then, Tex?
Yeah, man.
All right, fuck yeah.
We good.
Now, next week, we're going to continue our month of dictators with another total piece of shit. This time, maybe a lesser-known one to some people. I knew all about this dude. Cambodia and Pol Pot. This motherfucker, funny name, but a fucked up individual.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah, his real name was Salazar, but he went by Pol Pot. Anyway, very fucked up, starved millions of his own people, tortured him in prison camps, really fucked up shit, very similar to some of the Saddam stuff.
Yeah.
Came into power during the Vietnam era. I wrote 2 songs about this guy when I was in Low 12. One was Lines Drawn, and there's a video for that on YouTube. And the other one I wrote about him was the famous prison camp called S-21, and it's fucking horrible. We'll talk about it next week, so you don't want to miss it. Joey, what about some page a day for us?
Yeah, I got some. We've been gone a while, so I had a bunch to pick through, but since we flipped the year since we've last been live, really.
That's right.
I got a couple older ones and a couple new ones, so
okay.
So the couple old ones. So what they're talking about is whipping toms. Whipping toms.
All right.
So this is we're going back to 1681, and there's a sexual predator stalking the streets of London. So they hide in dark corners, and this dude would leap out and grab unaccompanied women, lift their dresses, and hit their buttocks with a rod or an open hand and flee. He would sometimes yell "Spanko," and he badly injured a number of women when he attacked them. Now I gotta stop right here because I don't understand how much damage you can do by. Maybe though, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking shit, but it sounds like he's just fucking whipping them with a switch or something real quick. Anyway, so decrying the ineffectiveness of the police, women began arming themselves with penknives, sewing needles, scissors, and anything while they're walking alone. Men began to patrol the areas of the whipping tom, which that's what he's known as now, where he was known to strike, and they would dress as women, hoping to catch him in the act. Now, later that year, a haberdasher, which is a hat dude, which I know that for some weird reason.
Yeah.
A haberdasher is a hat store. Anyway, a haberdasher and his accomplice were accompanying him were arrested and tried for the crimes, but the verdict and their identities have been lost to history. Now, in 1712, there was another whipping tom, and he began haunting London again. Now, he got 70 women attacked with a birch rod before a local man aptly named Thomas Wallace caught him. Or he was caught, that was the dude. He confessed to carrying out the attacks because of his anger towards the women who were false to him, whatever that means. He had planned to whack 100 women by Christmas Day, then resume in the new year, but his whipping days were cut short when he got caught.
That's fucking.
He didn't meet his.
That's fucking funny.
That's whipping toms. All right, this one's pretty good. So, December 2014, there are 2 20-year-old men in a Tim Hortons in Saskatoon, Canada, and they get in a fight. They fucking start an argument. Now, what these men want is they want diced onions on their breakfast sandwich, but Tim Hortons doesn't dice their onions. So,
shit.
These dudes are just fucking getting pissed, and all of a sudden, one of the dudes takes a snake out of the other dude's pocket and throws it over the counter at the employees.
What the fuck?
They all get all freaked out, and then the cops show up at the scene at 7:30 in the goddamn morning. Cops wonder why they're at a Tim Hortons not getting coffee, and they're fucking determined that the weaponized animal was a non-venomous, or they determined that the weaponized animal was a non-venomous garter snake. Nobody was hurt by it. So the snake, they ended up naming it Outlaw, and then they ended up releasing it into the wild. The dude's got, in trouble for it. But yeah, throwing a snake at some people with the Tim Hortons, don't do it.
That's fucking all because of some diced fucking onions.
Yeah. So that was the last ones from 2023. So now we're in 2024. Got the new page a day. Fucking So we're going to start off. I got 2 of them for the new year. The first one is the murder of Meredith Emerson. Now, New Year's Day 2008, Meredith Emerson, she goes hiking with her dog Ella on Georgia's Blood Mountain, which is part of the Appalachian Trail. She doesn't come back the next day, and her friends go looking for her. They can't find her. They get a larger search and rescue team formed. Fellow hikers said they last saw Meredith on a trail talking to an older man. So her body, unfortunately, is found on January 4th, 4 days later. That same day, the police received a tip that there was a man cleaning out his van at a gas station, suggesting that he might be the older male subject they were looking for. They were able to stop the guy before he could bleach out the van, and that enabled them to recover blood evidence that matched her DNA. The guy was Gary Michael Hilton. He admitted to keeping Emerson for 4 days before killing her, and he said that he couldn't bring himself to kill her, but of course he did. He led authorities to her body after prosecutors agreed not to pursue the death penalty. In January 2008, he pleaded guilty to murder and received life in prison. He has since been charged with murdering 3 other people and was sentenced to death in 2011. All 4 murders were committed near national forests, leading to his moniker, the National Forest Serial Killer. Kind of a stupid name.
Yeah, dumb.
But, but a new one, So, now with this case, they did have an act that came out of this that I thought was pretty wild. So, in 2010, Hustler reporter Fred Rosen, he filed an open records request with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation asking for crime scene and autopsy photos of Meredith Emerson to run alongside an article about the murder to be printed in the magazine. Her family's lawyer obtained a temporary restraining order to stop the GBI from releasing the photos, some of which depicted her nude and decapitated. Soon after, Representative Jill Chambers sponsored House Bill 1322, which they called the Meredith Emerson Memorial Privacy Act. Now, the bill prevents the dissemination of crime scene photos that depict bodies that were nude, bruised, bloodied, or in a broken state with open wounds, a state of dismemberment, or decapitation. And that cites the victim's inability to consent to the photos being published. The Georgia House Governmental Affairs Committee unanimously passed the bill. Now, Hustler released a statement declaring its intent to explore all legal options available to them to obtain the photos, should the decision be made to go forward with the story. So, pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
That's fucked up.
Like, no, we want these pictures of this dead, naked, decapitated
that's
woman.
Fucked up. That ain't right.
Right.
Couldn't imagine if it was your family member. You know what I mean? That's fucked
right.
up.
All right, so this is the last one for Page a Day. Fucking stoked to keep doing these year after year. This one is a story that we probably all remember because it wasn't that long ago. And this is July 28th of 1999. 6-year-old Tiffany Eunick, she was killed by Lionel Tate, who was 12 at the time. And he claimed that he was practicing wrestling moves on her, including body slams, which resulted in her lacerated liver, fractured rib and skull, and she had a swollen brain that ended up leading to her death. The prosecution claimed that Tate killed Eunick because he had a crush on her mother. Eunick's mother testified that Tate shrugged and rolled his eyes when he learned that Eunick had died and asked if he could live with her and have Eunick's toys, which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Under a Florida law known as the felony murder rule, the jury was required to find Tate guilty of murder if they believed he had caused Eunick's death, regardless of whether they believed he intended to kill her or even knew his actions would lead to her death. So in January 2001, he's convicted of the first-degree murder of Tiffany Eunick. 14 years old at the time of sentencing, he became the youngest person to be sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. So, January 2004, his conviction's overturned on the grounds that he was not evaluated for mental competency before his first trial, and rather than be retried, he takes a plea deal that he had originally declined in his first trial, and that gave him 1 year under house arrest after he was released on 10 years of probation. So May 2005, when Tate's 18 years old, this is a year after he gets released, He's charged with armed burglary, with battery, armed robbery, violation of probation for possessing a gun, and this is all after he threatened a Domino's Pizza delivery man. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison for violation of probation, concurrent with the 10-year sentence for the robbery. So that was the story of Lionel Tate.
Wow. Yeah, crazy, good stuff. Page a day, man, does not disappoint. Love some Page a Day, and yeah, I think it's cool going into a new year, some new Page a Day. So, all right, well, we have done our fair share of murdering tonight. I think it is time to crank up some fucking metal. So, Tex, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our metal on.
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses.